My burden, my last breath, shall be carried by a vessel. To be born, to be made, created, brought into existence is a concept that has, for as long as we have existed, fascinated and perplexed us. What is being made? What is being a maker? To create is to create something to exist. And to exist is to experience that which was created before you, that was created. But what about the you that you make of yourself? That which is forged by experience, time, interaction, the world around you, others. Through a gorgeously crafted art book, fictional game guide, created by Plastaboo, we can see these ideas explored, done so with the language of game storytelling. Nest L609 is the birthplace of the hand. What you soon come to understand is who the player of GODHUSK would be. GODHUSK, a Metroidvania, FromSoft-inspired, body horror-inspired, grim sci-fi game, tells of a world where synthetic bodies known as vessels are born for a purpose that, when we, the reader, arrive, has almost completely vanished, replaced with whatever cobbled-together meanings and functions these inhabitants can find for themselves. A ruthless, fabricated ecosystem born within the shell of some once great, enormous mega-structure. A place of significant manufacturing and engineering, a place now rusted and fallen to ruin. Crawling like insect larvae from their pods, the vessels enter an endless cycle of survival with whatever this place is. But as the hand journeys forth, the means to alter what will become of this place and what it means to survive in it show themselves. Parallels and points of inspiration can easily be drawn to, as I'd mentioned, FromSoft, where Dark Souls and Elden Ring, with its non-linear storytelling and themes of, in particular, changing or rotting and maintaining a cycle. But I feel it cannot be overlooked that GODHUSK is also phenomenally well-paced in storytelling and world-building, both within the confines of a game narrative or a narrative in general, as well as in the structure of a game guide. One element never strays too far from the other, and both build upon what the other establishes within the world, and that I find masterful. It is compelling, both as someone who likes, a fantasy, mysterious world, sci-fi, and video games. Video games at both a thematic or mechanical level. As an example, when the hand emerges into existence on the cold floor of the nursery complex, we are given an explanation of the growth cycle of a proto-vessel, the infant form of a fully grown vessel. This worm-like synthetic life form can do little but drag itself around until it grows into a new form, the explorer, a bipedal mode with a defensive umbilical cord whip move, displayed with some amazing artwork, until it reaches its final adult size. A fully grown humanoid that can reattach its limbs, use items and weapons, and more or less act like you or I. Within reason. Not only are these vessels birthed in pods with an accelerated growth cycle, but they are also able to defend themselves at what could arguably be called their childhood. By being a game guide, a very direct and clear element can be presented that, in its simplicity, demands more and more questions. It works because it plays off the expectations gamers, have, and the information games need to provide. Why am I being shown a medkit now? Probably because I'll need to heal soon. Oh, I've been given a weapon. There's probably some enemies nearby or some sort of ranged thing. These expectations help to convey a grim reality quickly to the reader. The hand was born and can fight with its umbilical cord. You aren't told why, but you know that must mean it's a cruel, dangerous, and punishing world beyond that metallic hull. And it is. Quickly, the player can enter the Magnetic Garden, where our first NPC, Living Hole, exists. They can be seen multiple times throughout your journey and playthroughs, with the ability to have items stored in its back. Then, the flooded repair center, nest of wires, and the depths. From the nest of wires, the hand can reach a variety of areas, some barred with secrets or requiring special items to unlock. Every mention of a weapon is nothing but a number and a shape, but every time I see one, it just adds more and more to the world and the story of GODHUSK. A vessel is only as good as its parts, and replacing limbs is vital to survival within the world of GODHUSK. We see how the synth ecosystems work, with hideous creatures that crave parts and strip them from you if given the chance, monstrous creatures that crawl through pipes or simply lie in wait. The deeper the hand goes, the deeper you, the reader, do too, and by the time you've reached the outer crust, where fungal polyps fly and monolithic Cytian life patrols within the festering air that will literally melt your body, you can't go back. It makes sense that the player is called the Hand, because it's guided by you, the player. The entity with the power to directly control one vessel's fate, pilot its destiny, and choose its path that in turn will change the world. Forcing it to go somewhere deadly or life-threatening, where its body might melt, purely to know more, to see what is there. The macabre curiosity, the unquenchable thirst of knowledge. Slowly, NPCs, sages and prophets in hideouts begin mentioning angels, divine beings, and a secret place containing an artificial god. In the description, angels exist outside of reality, but cross over on occasion, unable to be harmed by anything except for weapon 000. All the while, we are reminded of the inhabitants living as vessels, literal vessels, but as to what they contain or were meant to, if even at all, is never expressly said. We see some, like MO3, struggle with their thoughts and feelings of love from being born by tanks and pods, but they seem to find purpose in creating life themselves, cobbling them together from scrap, while others demand you open your eyes as you become blinded by pride for a faith in something gone. Spoiler warning. Beyond, if that is its name, clutches a long crimson shrike, a javelin carved in sharp barbs, named depicts. It is said to be left by a mother of light whose last wish was to free her children of mankind's torment. Beyond this broken humanoid vessel, sitting with wires pouring forth in a cave, it says to save our prayers. The ever-brighter has long abandoned us. Her grieving for her children sank our world into darkness. More or less, some paraphrasing. A mother of light with hopes to free vessels from mankind, mourning her children, leaves a weapon of such power it can kill divine beings. Depicts, roughly translated from ancient Greek, is fallen from heaven. This is also one of the most direct mentions of a man as well in mankind, aka human life in general, or at least whatever human was or would be at that time. But why would killing angels free vessels from mankind? Did humans make these vessels to contain the angels and control them, or capture them, maybe use them? Or are the angels guiding mankind to give them bodies to manifest in the real world? This, of course, could all be made up, just the ramblings of a corrupted droid or the creation of a belief in times of great sorrow. The description given by the Beyond of the ever brighter mother also reminds me of Hemira 12. You see, high above, within this structure, this planetary space, far above Rusttown and beside the outer crust, hovers the malfunctioning satellite Hemira 12. Intended to provide warmth for the planet's surface, over time Hemira 12 began emitting so much heat it started to melt the surface of this world, making it uninhabitable. Was this construct a planet meant to house human life, supported by these synthetic vessels, with a kind of contained light source? And was the mother that Beyond mentioned just a satellite, which parts fell from high and may have killed one of these angels, thus becoming a sign for downtrodden life to rise up against these intangible authorities? This is all speculation, of course, but it goes to demonstrate why I think GODHUSK by Plastaboo is such a fantastic piece of art and literature in this day and age. It is direct and vague, gross and beautiful, and always asking of you to ask of it. It's a beautiful binding of a love of games and mechanics and learning about how they function, but also learning how a world within them functions when you believe in it. So, long story short, GODHUSK Rebirth, buy that shit out of that. It's so good. Cannot recommend enough. This is sort of a half-done weird lore/musing review thing. I don't quite know what the format of this is, but if you like it, I might do some of Plastaboo's other work or other works like it if you would like me to. So yeah, just let me know, leave a comment, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you later.